Hi, this is Vic, and again, I'm talking about the 2014 Cadillac ELR, the extended range electric vehicle offered by Cadillac. And once again, I'm going to suggest that Cadillac implement the same technology in all of their platforms. Not just the two-door coupe, but also the SUVs, the CTS, the ATS. I mean, lots of people can ride in a luxury Cadillac and at the same time be offered the luxury of passing a gas station. The technology that is in the ELR is the extended range electric vehicle technology. The car still has a gasoline engine. The engine comes on to generate electricity when you're driving long distances or when you cannot plug the car in to charge the power supply. The car also has a large power supply that travels along the center of the vehicle under the center console, and that I refer to that as basically as the warp drive. When the car is using the engine to generate electricity, that's like going to impulse power. This is kind of like a landlocked Starship Enterprise. It's so full of technology. It's absolutely wonderful. The car does not use gasoline all of the time. After I unplug the car, after the car has been charging for a period of time, I drive for several miles without the gasoline engine needing to come on to generate any electricity. As a matter of fact, I've been driving around for a couple of hours all day today, and have not used any gasoline at all. The main occurrence of me using gasoline will be when I drive long distance, when I drive out of the city. When I'm driving inside of the city, I use absolutely no gas at all, because I plug my car into the outlet that's in the garage, and this technology is absolutely wonderful. It gives me a luxury vehicle that is solid, very solid, well built, and also affords me the luxury of passing a gas station. If Cadillac would implement this type of technology into their other platforms, they would be doing their customers and the environment a big favor. There would be a win-win situation for everybody concerned. And Cadillac would win as well, would also win, because I predict that their sales would increase tremendously. The customers would still have a luxury vehicle with quality interior, and they would not have to go through the inconvenience of stopping to gas up so often. And that's a win-win-win situation for everybody, for the customers, for the environment, and for Cadillac. This technology is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Now again, I say it's the extended range electric vehicle, and that's what it is. I did not coin that phrase. That phrase I learned that phrase from doing a little bit of lookup on the car and what it is. Some research on the internet. The range of the car is extended by the fact that once you drive long enough distance after charging the car, then the gasoline engine, which is a generator, will come on to generate more electricity for the car. Speaking of that reminds me of a term. I'm not sure, but maybe this car is a hybrid. Maybe hybrid means two sources of power or two sources of energy for an automobile. If that's the case, then I guess the Cadillac ELR is in fact a hybrid, because it can get power from two different sources, but the power has to be electricity, either from plugging the car into an outlet or electricity that's generated by the onboard generator that it carries. But either way, the car does need electricity. But it can get that electricity from two different sources. either from plugging it in or from the engine. And it's outstanding. Once again, I can't overemphasize that I think Cadillac would be doing everybody a favor if they would implement the same technology into their other platforms. And Cadillac would benefit as well, because that would add reusability to certain components concerning the technology. The power supply, they could engineer power supplies so that different platforms can share the same type of power supplies. Reusability. Right now, the ELR is very unique, and the power supply that's in it can't be reused in other cars because other cars don't have the same technology built in. If Cadillac would implement this in other platforms, then again that would add to the reusability of certain components, possibly making it more cost effective for Cadillac, and at the same time increasing sales, because like I said, customers can have a luxury vehicle that they don't have to stop for gas. As a matter of fact, the ELR has introduced me to a new issue that I've never had with other cars. With other cars, what I would do is, while I'm stopping for gas, I would go, if I'm driving long distance on the highway, while I stop for gas, I would go ahead and hit the restroom and grab a bite to eat, being that I have to stop for gasoline. With the ELR, it's the opposite. I have to stop to look for a place. I have to look for a place to stop so I can go to the restroom, but I don't need gas. And while I'm stopping to go to the restroom, I would in fact try to see if I can fit some gas into the gas tank, because the ELR is so efficient in how it uses energy. Okay, now here's the center console of my 2014 ELR, and it's showing that I drove, since the last time the car was fully charged, I drove 6.4 total miles. All of it was driven using only electricity that was stored in the power supply. None of the electricity was generated by the gasoline engine. So you see 0.0 miles was driven using the gasoline engine, and 6.4 miles was driven using electricity that was stored in the power supply. And you see the 250 plus miles per gallon. That is another indication that the 6.4 miles was driven using electricity that was stored in the power supply, not electricity that was generated by the generator. My lifetime average is now 76.2 miles per gallon, and that average is so low, and that is low for me at 76.2, because periodically I do drive out of town where I can't plug in the car, and I have to use gasoline so that the generator can generate electricity for the car. And again, this is just an example, another example of how efficient the ELR is in using energy, and how little I have to use gasoline. Now, once again, the car does not use gasoline on a regular basis. I mainly use gasoline when I want to drive out of town. When I'm driving in town and when I'm at home, I can plug in the car at night, or during the day, or whenever I'm at home. And if this technology could be implemented in other platforms, SUVs or ATSs or CTS, Cadillac would be doing all of their customers a big favor, and the environment as well.